I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about how to work on yourself.
Right?
Well, we talk about that pretty much every video.
Pretty much every video.
We look for different ways to help educate
Yes.
you guys to have healthier relationships, work on your mental health, your attachment issues, and be better partners.
I mean, I've had many people say to me, I'm willing to do it, but what the blank is it? Right?
Well, we have over 1,000 videos that talk about it and give you a lot of great ideas and strategies and tips. We have the Creative Healing course, the workbooks. It's up to you on how motivated you want to be.
Right. So, of course, we're thinking, you've been through all this, and then we say, go work on yourself, and you say, what are they talking about?
Mm-hmm.
We tell you to remain in no contact and work on yourself. What does work on yourself mean? What am I supposed to do? The first and most common reason that people break up, we are told, by the literature and by the people we talk to, is a lack of communication. For whatever reason, couples are not talking to each other. Most of what we learn about communication in couples and families comes from how we grew up, okay? That is our introduction to the world, Most people will say they grew up in a normal family who communicated normally. However, with a little more exploration, it often becomes clear that what appeared to be normal communication was quite restricted. Often both parents work and are too tired to talk with tired, hungry, grumpy children when they get home.
They're exhausted.
Of course they are.
Parents
Yes.
come home exhausted.
Sure. Although it is understandable, it is hurtful and lonely for the children who waited all day to see their parents when they came home. All right? And so, of course, they're running around hungry, grumpy, and screaming.
Yep.
And ultimately kind of angry that they haven't seen you all day.
It's not easy.
No, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
No.
Even if you had a parent that you stay-at-home parent, that's
It's
not easy
still
for
not
them.
easy. You don't know your name by the end of the day. Yeah. There seems to be no time for conversation. It is wonderful if families can have dinner together and have a chance to find out what kind of day other members had. It is not always possible, however. So one thing to do is to try to make an assessment of what communication was like in your family. Did you get to talk with your parents? If so, when during the day did that happen? Did your parents genuinely want to know what kind of a day you had at school? If you had a bad day, were they genuinely interested in listening to your complaints and feelings about it? Did you get a chance to communicate with your siblings and other family members who might have lived with you? Were people cordial with each other, or were there fights and screaming? Okay, and unfortunately, I think too often it's fights and screaming.
Yeah.
Was home a safe haven or a situation to be survived? Were emotions discussed or avoided like the monkeypox? I'm avoiding the monkeypox. I don't know about everyone else. If kids said they were unhappy or sad or angry or frustrated, was their expression of emotion supported, or were they told to stop whining? Did the family eat together, or did everyone take what they wanted and go to their room? We hear an awful lot of that these days. If all goes swimmingly, everybody gets to interact with each other in a safe atmosphere. Kids get to hear about adult experiences and how adults think and how adults react to each other. If all this doesn't happen for us, how are we supposed to know what to do as an adult? We're not born knowing this, okay? There was a very common practice over many, many years called wait till your father gets home. And when I thought about that, a jingle came into my head, and I remembered it was a cartoon once. Wait till your father gets home. But it was not so funny because mothers, it's a disaster for the following reasons. Mother gives away all her power, right? Wait till your father gets home, and makes Dad the bad guy. He's got the power, but he's still the bad guy.
Yeah, and he's tired.
And he's tired too, yeah. And yeah, he wants to go home and put his feet up, not go home and settle disputes that happen during the day.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to come home to that. It also means that children are terrified all day. And I have a client I see currently, calls periodically, who had one of the worst descriptions of that I've ever heard. Of having to wait for hours for his father to get home after his mother called him and told him all kinds of god-awful things the kid had done. He thought he was going to die of fright. And I think it affects his anxiety level to this day.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. So wait till your father gets home is not a good idea. So when treating adults, I have come across many, many people who complain of starting to get depressed and anxious around 4 o'clock in the afternoon because they were terrified of Dad getting home.
Yep.
And I'm not kidding when I say I have come across that frequently, very frequently.
You've told me that for years.
Okay. We also hear lots about the dad who faithfully comes home from work, supports the family, makes money, but then flees the family for his newspaper or his workshop. I hear again and again, Dad was not involved. Okay.
Dad's exhausted. He wants to relax.
Of course.
I mean,
so what he ends up doing is shutting down.
yeah.
And kids feel that. You're supposed to have two parents, not one who yells at you and one who's behind his newspaper.
Yep.
Okay, dads, we need you out there. So, my thoughts on how to work on yourself. What you need to do is get a notebook. I always recommend a notebook because it's easy to lose little pieces of paper. And write down your thoughts on what family communication was like at your house. Okay? And it doesn't mean you have to get angry at your parents or blame them for anything. We just want to get the truth out on paper. What happened? We're not interested in blaming anybody, but what happened? What happened in your daily life? I remember a guy who kind of broke my heart. I remember he would come home every day. He was the youngest of several boys. He would come home every day and be horribly physically and sexually abused by his older brothers. And then the next day he went back to Catholic school, where he was, of course, always in trouble. So he had the most miserable days you could possibly imagine. Okay? You know, there was no bright spot anywhere. And you have to stop and think what your fellow family members' experiences are. You know, what was this day like for you?
Yeah.
Okay? So if you can write down your thoughts on what your family communication was like, then you can have a vision of what you would like your family to look like. Okay? So that will keep you busy for a while. And if you want to know where to start, here's my suggestion. Okay?
And of course, we go into a lot of that stuff in the creative healing course, especially going over communication and there's over like 100 activities that'll probably keep you busy for close to a year.
Yep.
Quite honestly.
But it's the only way to get it right. Otherwise, what isn't talked about, what isn't understood, what isn't digested, ends up coming back in another form. You know? Kind of like swatting mosquitoes, I guess. Yeah. Okay?
So there's some tips for you, some strategies and some ideas and some things to think about. And of course, when you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. And of course, Margaret is available for Skype coaching.
If you feel I can be helpful, please sign up.
Just click on Margaret on the top of the website to do that. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon. To get my help personally, go to askcraig.net and click on Schedule Coaching and choose the option that works best for you. I do email coaching or Skype. To schedule a coaching with Margaret, click on Margaret on the top of the page and order a Skype with her. For the Knowledge Creative Healing course, click on the link at the top of the page and click Get Started Now.